All right, we are live.
There we are live. Hello, everybody. I just asked John. Resilience of items in space. It's I just started plugging Ron's book to John.
Oh, cool.
So what would you give the elevator speech to John of what the book's about?
If you work in space systems, that includes basically satellite systems and their links to the ground and their communications with each other. This is a book on resiliency. That is how you measure the ability of these systems to thwart
survivability.
Kind of like survivability, but this is more about threats that are man-made that can take those systems down, and how you design to improve your resiliency under those conditions. Improve the system's resiliency.
Maybe you should bring the book and show it.
I could.
Then we can tell. Then we can send Ron a link to the YouTube video and say, "Look, Steve plugged your book."
Hold on, I gotta get the. I'm getting two of you. Let me get the Discord video or audio off.
All right, long duration exposure facility. All right, it's time for roll call. We've got Kevin and Brett snuck in, and Kevin and Ryan and John and Rick and Sandy. And who else is out there? Let's see. Rick C. I already said hi to Rick. Somebody on Titanbot. And Wheels, of course. All right, Joe is in there in Everyone Can Talk all by himself. He is going to figure out that he can't hear us if he's in Everyone Can Talk. So I'm guessing he'll be back soon.
And here is the book, Resilient Space System Design by our good friend, Ron Birch.
You should be full screen.
All right, let's go full screen.
I can't. Oh, there you go.
How's that?
All right, look at that.
It's not a huge
book. You totally
book.
need this book. Show me.
Now, 200 pages.
Huge. Looks huge the way you're holding it. I'll hold it up to next to your head. See, it's actually tiny.
Not too bad.
It's got lots of equations in it.
It's really geared towards space system designers and people like that.
All right, enough plugging Ron's book, Steve. Let me do a little test recording here and make sure I can record.
I was muted on Discord. You might hear me twice now.
I sure am. I know. I was enjoying that. I only heard you once. Get rid of Steve. There we go. All right. I love Steve, but I only need to listen to him once.
One of each of us is plenty.
So that means nobody heard you talking about the space book,
right?
That whole time.
So, for those that didn't hear, well, actually, it was a visual anyway.
Yeah, but when you answered John, if he didn't hear, if you were muted in there.
Good point.
Tell him one more time.
So, John, it's a book called Resilient Space Systems Design, geared towards people who design spacecraft and space systems, and it talks about resiliency, defines a term, which is the ability of a system to thwart and overcome threats, usually man-made threats in this case, so it's a little different than reliability. And it gives equations for how to measure resiliency and how to improve a system's
and design for that.
And how to design for it, yeah.
Ron kind of invented this whole thing, right?
Resiliency's been around, but he put an equation to it, quantified it, and put a structure around it so you could use it in design and trade-offs.
It's pretty nerdy. He's our friend. We're pretty proud of him. Yeah. All right. Ian's here. Mike's here. All right. Party can get started. Rose is here.
You did your roll call, I take it.
I did. Let me do a test recording. Get that light out of my eye here. All right. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, just back from Disneyland. Let's hear if you can hear that. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, just back from Disneyland. Yes, but did you hear it twice, Sandy? Wow.
Where is Mike anyway? Friday.
It's Mike's yard. Is he in Idaho? Yeah, where he is.
Wow. That looks... and it's only early October. Well, mid.
Hey, your uncle...
South Dakota.
South Dakota. All right. I'm going to record a show if everybody heard that playback.
Let's do it.
Playback is good. All right, muting Steve. Didn't show you as muted. Hopefully you are. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, October 13th, 2019, and this is show number 753. This week, Steve and I took all of our kids and the grandson to Disneyland for a 2-day extravaganza. I was able to relax, run tens of thousands of steps per day, chasing Forbes around, making Steve write It's a Small World, and having an overall jolly good time because of two people. Joe Duganzik of Smarter Home Life, who you've heard from before, sent in a review of the DJI Osmo Pocket. And for the first time on the big headphones, we've got a review from Jill McKinley. When you hear her review, you'll think she's been doing this professionally for ages. She even had enough fun doing it that she's already planning on doing more, bought a new microphone, and I'm excited to hear what she comes up with next. However, with all that fun and frivolity, I didn't get around to recording a chit chat across the pond, I'm afraid. But let's dig in and listen to Jill. All right. Jill is awesome. You guys are going to love her. Copy link, copy, go back over here and see if it does anything. Nothing at all.
Nope.
Wow, that is just really random. All right, well, I'll get around it. All right, Jill. Yeah, Jill, God, she went bananas here. She, oh, wait, did I forget to? Yes, I did. One moment, please. Let's see, is this mine? Jill and I played around with her audio because it was, it had a little bit of noise on it. Let me make sure this is the good one. Did I remember to export it? I think that's the one with the noise. So let me export it again. This will just take one moment. She did this on the, yeah, I didn't export this. Export as wave, sure. Hello, there we go. Anyway, she had a little bit of a hiss on her, not a hiss, but just a little background hum, and I was teaching her how to fix it in Audio Hijack. Where did I just export it to? It says it's done. Take 32, Al, come on. Where did you save to? Export as wave. Just saw you do it. Oh, that's not where I meant to go. I put it back in Dropbox. That is not where it belongs. It belongs in here. Jill on sleep tracking. There we go. Save. And okay. And now we'll have a new version. Now with less noise. There we are.
New and improved.
It is. It was fun because it was a really clean recording, and she happened to do had a couple of seconds of dead air at the beginning that makes it so much easier to get rid of the noise. Makes it trivial.
Because you could sample it?
Yeah. All right, let's try it out like that. Didn't get around to recording a chit chat across the pond, I'm afraid. But let's dig in and listen to Jill.
Hello,
I'm going to bring her over a little bit. But let's dig in and listen to Jill.
Hello, I'm Jill from the North Woods. I've quietly listened to Allison and Bart for years. I work for a software company, and I used to be a system administrator. I love learning how to use gadgets and software to its fullest to make life better and more enjoyable. I heard somewhere that sleep tracking was stupid, but I learned a lot from my 2 years of tracking. I used to have insomnia for over 35 years. I solved many of my problems about 5 years ago with a few technologies, but that's a story for another time. This is about sleep tracking. After the insomnia was fixed, I started sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, which is great, but I still woke up very tired in the morning and I wanted to understand why. I tried a few sleep tracker apps and learned a few things. In March of 2018, I switched to Sleep Cycle. And here's why I switched. I learned a lot from my
Okay, is my voice going in and out? when you're listening?
I
Because
didn't
it's not
hear.
fading in. They're saying it's fading in and out. Were you listening?
Wait, your voice? All I'm
No,
hearing is
the
Jill's
recording.
voice.
Right, but I wanted to know if I don't see how that would be different than what they're hearing from me. Are you guys hearing? Jill comes in and fades. How bizarre.
I didn't notice that.
Hmm.
But
Well,
I'm listening to Mimo, not Discord.
right. That's very odd. Well, we will learn something in a few moments when we get to Joe's. I did a save. So I'm going to skip forward to the end of that, and then I am going to talk for a while. I'm not going to do a chapter mark. So remind me to do a chapter mark. Sounds good on YouTube live stream. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And that's essentially what Mimo's
Okay.
pumping out.
Yeah. Ian and Ryan are both saying it's fine on YouTube. That is.
It's consistent, at least.
Discord problems. All right. I'm going to keep recording here. Kevin, still remind me to do a chapter mark when I finish this because I'm going to skip to another subject. But right now, I'm going to keep talking on the subject, so I'm not doing a chapter mark. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Standing by.
By becoming Patreon supporters. I did. I hope you will too. Thank you very much.
Well, I got to tell you, I love Jill's review on so many levels. I have to love it for her gentle challenge to my article on why I think sleep tracking is stupid. She also clarified something for me that I don't know, I just didn't think about it before. And it's that there's a difference between insomnia and poor sleep. I gathered from what she said that insomnia must be the not being able to get to sleep or stay asleep, but poor sleep is where you sort of thought you were sleeping, but it's not good quality sleep. I never really thought about that before. Now, I do have to give her a hard time because part of what she figured out was you need to go to sleep earlier. That's one of the things I love mocking people about on trying to figure out how to get better sleep. But I gotta step back from that mocking because she had more data than the obvious silliness of that. It wasn't that she was able to be in bed longer. It was that the earlier sleep was the better sleep because of what she'd been able to measure. I loved seeing her trend lines go down over the course of a year, showing her sleep quality improving because she was going to sleep earlier. That was very, very interesting. Probably the coolest thing she figured out was that noisy water softener waking her up at the same time every night. That was brilliant. Now, my main reason for saying sleep tracking is stupid is that just sleep tracking is stupid, but that wouldn't have made as fun of a title. By her pairing of Northcube's sleep cycle tracking app with their life cycle app to note the changes that she was making in her daily life, that really starts to resemble a closed loop system, and that is not in any way stupid. Like I said up front, I hope Jill does a lot more reviews with us. Still, on the subject of sleep tracking, Tim in our Slack group at podfeet.com/Slack wrote something really interesting in response to my article about thinking that sleep tracking is stupid. You remember that I said, why do you need to track sleep to be able to tell yourself you're not sleeping well because you wake up tired? Tim gave me some valuable insight. Here's what he wrote. I also think that the quantified self often reveals things more to certain types of people other than others. Allison, I'm not surprised that you'd be more self aware on a lot of fronts. I find people with engineering backgrounds are often attuned to things like this. But to take a related example you gave, it should be obvious to most people if they're consuming a ton of calories every day and thus gaining weight. But it's amazing at how good we are at telling ourselves that our habits are normal until we're faced with hard data, whether that's calories consumed, steps taken per day, or quantity of restful sleep. Some people are more alert when they wake up at night, while I've certainly known more than a few who had no idea they were waking up multiple times at night or even getting up. So I think good sleep tracking can definitely be useful to point out a problem that an individual is either oblivious to or just minimizing as normal. Oh, everyone is tired when I'm feeling is within a standard deviation of the mean kind of thinking. All right, STM, I love that you're so nerdy in the way you answered that. But, I got to say, I'll never stop being amazed that everyone's not exactly like me. I actually thought about that a lot over the years because it's only occurred to me recently. So, anyway, thanks for pointing out that it might be the engineer in me that makes me analyze and think about these things. I do think finding out you have interruptions in your sleep is interesting, but if it doesn't get matched to any input data, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's why I thought it was stupid. If you really want to learn more about why you're not getting quality sleep, it sounds like Jill has found some great apps to figure it out over at North Cube. There we go. Oh, you're off talking about Star Wars Land?
Yeah, I showed him the picture of Kyle and me meeting Vi. Huh.
Oh, you're so proud of that. You didn't know who she was. Thank you, Kevin. I will.
First time I've gotten that.
What?
Temperature of your iPhone is too hot. Need to cool it down before you can use it.
Wow.
I've never had that.
What were you doing with it?
I was on Discord. Well, I mean, there are
Wow.
plenty of apps open, so I'm not sure. It was
But
charging
that's
too.
not right.
No.
Stupid thing. It doesn't work. All right. This is going to be funny. Oh, Steve.
Yes.
Um,
You need the other half?
I'm doing the doorbell. Yeah, I need the other half.
I will be back.
Okay, we have to do a product demonstration. One moment. Okay, this is going to be really funny. Yeah, I've definitely seen that message when I leave it in the sun. So Steve, for this audience, I'm going to plug it in right now, but it occurred to me it would be really funny if you rang the doorbell while I was reading this. I can't hear you. You're muted.
At
Hello.
what point do you want me to come in?
How about no, you don't need to come in and do it.
No, come in as in ring the bell. You said you want me to ring the doorbell?
I'll figure out a time. It may be at the very end, but I will say it at some time. But I'm going to plug the device in right now, and it's going to do its little magic. This
You're
is
going to give me a cue.
when I'm doing the review. I will. So I found this on the side of the road. Steve, show the other half of it. Okay, it's a doorbell. Ready? You're going to hear this pretty loud.
Wow, that's high tech.
Okay, did that come through loud and clear?
Yes, it did.
Hopefully it came through loud and clear to the live audience too, because I want to make sure that's going to come in loud enough. Okay, you could hear it. All right, I'm going to start recording, and I will actually say I'm going to have my able assistant Steve. Oh, yeah, I'll say it, and then it'll come through in the audio. I might lay this down so none of the glorious audio is blocked at all. Make sure closer this is to me. Oh, shoot. Sorry, dropped a laptop.
Ooh.
That's okay. It's the 12-inch MacBook.
And it was closed?
Yeah, and it didn't slide that far. I'm sure it's fine. Ian says I opened my door, but nobody was there. All right, press it for me one time. Okay, now. All right, so that may take just a second. All right, Ryan says that was almost a non-Girl Scout safe word. Okay, I am ready. It may be at the very end, but be ready for it. So you have to actually pay attention while I'm doing this episode.
Oh, no.
This segment.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't, the actual recording is going to be messed up.
Okay, my thumb is on the trigger.
Okay. Oh, good. What could possibly go wrong? All right. Muting Steve. My father grew up during the Great Depression, and stuttering for no reason. My father grew up during the Great Depression, and as a result, he became quite a bit of a scavenger. If he found something interesting, like, I don't know, a screw or a nut on the ground, it was quite likely to come home in his pocket. Late in his working career, he was making a really good living. We lived in a fancy house in a nice neighborhood, and yet my dad would walk the alleys behind his office complex, digging through the trash to see if he could find anything good. He said that the dumpsters behind office buildings have great stuff. When First Capital companies moved off of Century Boulevard, they threw away all of their letterhead pads of paper. My dad rescued this perfectly good scratch paper and brought them home. That was 25 years ago, and I'm still using these pads for my scratch paper. In fact, I took notes for my programming by stealth homework on it just last week. Now, while I did not grow up during the Depression, growing up under my dad's influence, I pick up things off the street that others might consider trash. You know those little cylindrical pins you use to hold up shelves and cheap furniture and how you never have enough of them? I found a box of them broken open on the street on the street one day. Score. Now that I've set the groundwork for why I pick up junk on the street, I can tell you a tech story about this habit of mine. On a recent walk, I found the perfect solution. I found a small, plain cardboard box on the side of the road that said digital doorbell on the top. I opened it up, and inside were two plastic pieces with their plastic peelies still intact, showing it was brand new. One piece is simply a big button with a bell on the front and no other distinguishing characteristics. The second piece plugs into the wall. Now, how could I not bring this fabulous treasure home? What would my father have thought of me if I didn't? I brought it home, plugged in the one piece, and pushed the button on the other, and I was rewarded with a fabulously loud and annoying doorbell sound. In fact, I think I will have my able assistant, Steve, ring that doorbell right now while I'm recording. Are you ready? Isn't that glorious? Steve, do it again. I talked over a little bit of it. Anyway, delighted with my new toy, I showed it to Steve. Now, at first, he was not as excited as I was, and he asked me, "What on earth do you plan on doing with this?" Well, my first thought was to give it to our 3-year-old grandson, Forbes. I figured could put the chime inside his room with the doorbell button outside the door and insist that his parents request entry into his room from now on. Then I thought of a better idea. You remember I told you I came up with the perfect solution? Now let's set up the problem to be solved. I happen to be enormously spoiled. Steve not only does the grocery shopping, he also makes dinner every night. He actually took the job over from me voluntarily when we retired. I gotta tell you, I didn't object too much. Usually I'm up in my studio writing articles for the podcast when dinner is ready. Steve wanted a way to give me a 5-minute warning, and then if I didn't show up, a dinner's ready alert. We do have a lovely 1990s era home intercom system, but for some reason in 2019, we seem to forget that it's there. Plus, low tech, right? Well, the obvious solution was to use the walkie talkie feature built into the Apple Watch. Most people think this is a dumb tool, but it's actually fabulous. Wherever he is, wherever I am, he can ping me and let me know my teriyaki salmon is ready, except for the part where walkie talkie only works about 83% of the time. It's just reliable enough that we keep trying it, but just unreliable enough to drive us nuts. Now, I realize that my fancy high-tech doorbell could be the perfect solution to this problem. I plugged the chime into an outlet in my studio and gave Steve a portable button. Now, when it's 5 minutes till salmon delivery, he pushes the button. There is no way I could miss the sound of this chime from anywhere upstairs. It has totally solved our problem, and it makes me laugh every single time because it is such a dumb little thing, and I found it on the street. Anyway, on the side of the part that you plug in, the chime, there are two buttons. One is for volume and one is for the ringtone. Discovery of the volume button was quite welcome because I would often be quite surprised when this crazy doorbell went off right next to me. You can set it to 4 volume levels and even mute it entirely. This still works because there's a bright blue ring that lights up when the chime goes off. That's also great for the hearing impaired. I am bummed about the ringtones, though. I was super excited at first because there are tons and tons of different tones, from Winchester chimes to Fury Elise. I can flip through them with the button, but sadly, they don't stick. Pushing the doorbell button goes right back to the ding dong sound. Well, now I bet all of you are wondering where you too could get a fabulous doorbell for inside your house. Sadly, the box is so nondescript that I haven't found an exact match. But the sticker on the side did give me a clue that this product was originally even cooler than what I found. The sticker says, quote, wireless doorbell, comma, F R plus 3 receiver white. Now that cryptic message suggests that there were actually 3 receiver units originally inside this box. This means that if we can find it, the chime could ring all over your house. I did some of the Googles, and while I didn't track down the exact device I found on the side of the road, I found several that look pretty close. On Amazon, there's the Bowie, I'll get it right, Bo Ying, that's Boying, and of course there's a link. Anyway, the Bo Ying wireless doorbell with 2 chimes and 1 button for the grand sum of $12. I know, mine's better. Free is better, but $12 isn't too bad, and you get twice as many chimes as I found. $12 is too rich for your blood. Bo Ying makes a set with only one chime for $11. Now, you may not have the same problem to solve that I did. Not everybody is lucky enough to have a salmon-making wonder husband, but there are lots of use cases for this. Maybe you have an elderly parent living with you and you'd like to know that they could ask for your assistance, even if you're in a distant part of the house. Maybe you have a shop in the garage, and when your child can't figure out where you are, she could ring the bell. I started this out as a very silly story that made me giggle, but this little device for under $15 is pretty darn cool. I think you want to hear Steve ring that bell just one more time. You want it, Steve? Oh, thanks, dear. All right. Salmon making wonder husband. You like that, Steve? All right. Isn't that cool, though? Okay, can't hear you, Steve. You're muted.
Sorry, I unmuted.
Did you guys send the Amazon link?
Ian found something that looks identical to
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, although it has a brand name below it, other than that, it looks identical.
Where's
it's his link to GearBest up above a little bit.
Oh. Let's see if I hit that. What's going to happen? I'm going to have to open that in something. Chrome. A new window.
Oh,
Let's
Katie's
see.
here. When did Katie sneak in?
Kaylee. Oh, man, that does look like it.
Yeah, they
Oh,
slapped
but
the
mine
brand
doesn't say Kakazi on it.
Right. The brand name is on there, but other than that, then if you go to another view, they show it without the brand name. So it's like
Oh. Oh, wow. Look at that. With one thing, it's only $9.64.
with the US plug, yeah. That's pretty high tech.
It's so awesome, though.
Hey, it's got 4.88 stars. That's not bad.
Yeah, but that's on an Amazon affiliate link, so we're not telling anybody.
Yeah, well, it's already been told to the chat rooms.
Darn! Darn you, Ian! I love this thing. It actually solves a real problem.
3% of that, you could have really raked it in.
Yeah, think about it. $12. If people don't go for the cheap $11 one. All right. We're having fun tonight. What's next? Gotta make a chapter mark, I bet.
Yeah, probably should do that.
Oh, nope. No chapter mark because it's spam time. Pledge break.
No. Pledge break. There you go.
Sorry. All right.
Pledge
here
break.
we go.
TM Frank.
Put them in the Podfeet store. Ooh, I could get them with a personalized one. Steve could make little stickers.
With the Podfeet logo right on
Yeah,
there.
we'll get them shipped here. We'll make a little Etsy store. Okay, muting Steve. Do you remember what Jill said at the end of her review? I'll quote her again in case you forgot. She said, "Don't forget to stay subscribed and please consider helping Allison and Bart by becoming a Patreon supporter." I did, and I hope you will too. Now, you might wonder how you too can join up to Patreon to show your support to Bart and me. You can become a patron of the Podfeet podcast by going to podfeet.com/Patreon. Bart does a couple of must-listen podcasts over at his site, lets-talk.ie. And after you subscribe to both of them, one's on photography and one's on Apple News, there are some big blue buttons. One of them will take you to his Patreon page so you can start supporting his work as well. And another great shout out to Jill for being a patron. There we go. I'm hearing a lot of noise on audio from my mic.
You sound fine here. I can't sense it. Maybe it's your monitor.
No, I mean I'm monitoring my own voice, and maybe I'll just push that farther away.
You monitoring?
Is that better? Yeah, it gets a little better. I think it's the fan from my thing there. All right, now is the moment that Joe has been waiting for. Did he leave?
Oh no,
I don't see him.
Where is Joe? Joe.
Oh, he's sitting and everyone can talk.
So he can't hear us. Hopefully
All
he's
right.
listening to the live to the.
Copy link.
You are here. Okay. So you are listening,
Okay.
but through
Oh, can
probably
you be in
YouTube.
both at the same time?
Sure.
All
Why
right.
not? I'm in both.
How?
What do
Can
you
you
mean by
hear Joe talking?
no? Oh, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I
I
thought you
think you
meant
have to be in one of the audio channels or the
he's
other.
listening to YouTube.
Ah, okay. Man, I gotta figure out what's wrong with this stupid script. I'll make Dave Hamilton fix it when I see him at MacTech this week. All right, Joe and Osmo, here he comes. Whoops. Oh, you know what I could have been doing? I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go here. Where's my doorbell? Remember I put pictures in last time? Did you guys care that I put in pictures? No?
Sure, we care.
Do you? Doorbell. There we go. It's a terrible picture. See, the problem is I purposely size the images. Oh, that's going to look even worse. Let's see what that one looks like. Yeah, it looks terrible.
This is a first.
What?
My voice is delayed. Oh, okay. Now it just caught up. I was delayed, but not you in the stream.
Oh, that's weird. All right, let's see how this flips over. And another great shout out to Jill for being a patron.
So you've heard about those camera gimbal gizmo things, right? Maybe you've even seen them out in the wild and thought they were pretty cool. But still, you think, I have the iPhone 11 Pro Max with 3 cameras on it, and Tim promised that it would be the best video experience I've ever had. So why would I get one of those gimbal things? Because really smooth, stabilized video. Hey, this is Joe DeGanzik from Smarter Home Life, and I myself recently bought one of those camera gimbal gadgets, specifically the DJI Osmo Pocket, for a big project I'm currently working on. In fact, the project itself and my purchase of the Osmo Pocket is directly related to another project that I worked on with Allison and Steve just about a year ago, but more on that later. So, what are these camera gimbal things, anyways, and why should you even consider getting one? Well, to start, let's talk a little bit about video stabilization. For several years now, most of the higher end smartphones on the market have had their internal camera systems mounted on microscopic rigs that enable the camera to move up and down and left to right while you're taking a video on your phone. This is called optical or sometimes mechanical image stabilization, since it's done in the camera. Monitoring the accelerometers and gyros on your phone, the camera will do its best to counteract any shaky movement while you're taking a video with your phone by moving the camera in the opposite direction of any small movements. It can also improve the process of taking individual photos and prevent accidental movement. This can definitely help in low light environments or when you're shooting something really up close. Most smartphones pair optical image stabilization with a little bit of software or electronic image stabilization. Ever notice that the image tends to zoom in a little bit when you switch from photo mode to video mode on your smartphone? This is to enable the video frame to be moved around the larger size of the actual image sensor to automatically counteract camera shake. And of course, it does help that the image sensors in smartphones have generally been able to take much higher resolution photos than videos, thus allowing electronic stabilization to be added in the first place. Before optical image stabilization came into being on smartphones, electronic image stabilization was the only way to go. If you've ever heard the term pan and scan as it relates to movies, electronic stabilization is actually a similar but automated concept. So the overall goal of optical and or electronic image stabilization is to help create video that looks like it wasn't shot by you holding your camera with one hand out the driver's side window of your car trying to capture what you thought was a beautiful flock of geese taking to the skies from a perfectly green grassy field in super slow motion, of course. And as it turned out, they were actually oversized pigeons, and you need new glasses. So, then what's the difference between your phone and its stabilized cameras and a camera gimbal? Or even one of those gimbal things that you can mount your entire phone itself into? Well, it removes your potentially shaky hands nearly entirely from the video making process. But it's not quite a Steadicam either. Steadicams are large, expensive, wearable camera rigs commonly used in film and television production. Think about those long walk and talks from The West Wing. And they use counterweights instead of electronics to smooth out the movements of a camera operator with a giant film camera strapped to their chest. Now, while there are gimbal devices that can accommodate your own smartphone, and yes, I've tried one, I'm focusing on the DJI Osmo Pocket. It's an all in one unit with the camera already mounted on its 3 axis motorized gimbal, and it has a touchscreen and most all of the stuff that you'll need in one compact gadget. It's from the guys who popularized drones, DJI, and who also started making their own cameras a few years back. A gimbal stabilized camera doesn't move the camera left and right and up and down like optical image stabilization. It pans it left and right, tilts it up and down, and even rotates it on its own axis to follow and sometimes counteract your own natural hand movements. This is incredibly helpful when you need to pan your camera across a room or some other space or landscape. Normally, you have to control the movement yourself by physically moving your hand and or arm to try to smoothly move your phone or other camera across the shot.
All right, I'm gonna have to stop that. As good as that is, it is nice and long, so it's gonna go on for a ways, and I will not have time to keep playing it.
So that was just a
I'll give a
teaser.
taster. Mm-hmm. All right. Now we only have sadness after this. Let's see. I need this.
Only sadness.
Yes, it's all sadness from here.
Oh.
Yep. Okay, so if I do copy link, and I copy that, and I come over here, and I do all this. Ah!
Oh, you okay?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
no, what
geez.
did I just do?
You sounded like you're
geez.
from Minnesota or something.
To admit that I own way too many cameras.
All right, let's see. I just did it all wrong here.
Soon to a screen near you. I'm Joe DeGanzik from Smarter Home Life, and I'd like to admit that I own way too many cameras.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know if it's possible to own too many cameras. I love this review. It was fascinating. This sounds like a really cool gadget. You know, we've tried the little handheld gimbals for the phone, and we've done bigger gimbal type things like the Steadicam kind of thing for Steve's big video camera, and they always seem like a hassle. But you're not the only person who's in love with this DJI Osmo. Rick Cartwright did a talk at MacStock, and he talked about how he's been using it. And then he showed it to us. I think it was during lunch at MacStock. And it looked like a pretty slick device. And if both of you guys say it's really cool, it must be really cool. Thanks for sending that in, Joe. Always love your content. Looking forward to the full tour of the tiny home. I'm sorry, the smarter home. All right. Stop it. Oh, I just really definitely need to do something about that now.
That's a callback.
That's like the joke that just gets funnier and funnier.
Oh, every time. If we could just change the ringtone.
Yeah, I'm actually ready to buy one of the other ones because I think it would be fun to be able to have it be Fur Elise. That would be neat.
It's a bit long for a ringtone.
Anyway, I need to make a wonder list here to say fix keyboard maestro shortcut for. Do you ever have your text expander snippets just disappear? Like you type it and then it just blanks out?
No, should we be looking at your screen?
No. You definitely shouldn't be looking at my screen. It's personal, Steve. All right, where is that one? Preview. Do I have any good pictures in this? Yeah, sure. We'll put this up here. Does anybody care that I forgot to look? Is anybody caring that I'm putting these stupid images in? It's not real hard.
I care. Kaylee's putting in the instructions. We did follow those several times.
No, well, hang on.
Are these different, maybe?
How to choose? No, that is different. Because I was following the instructions from the other chime. Hang on.
But we
press
pressed
the music
that thing
button
for
of the
a long
receiver
time.
to select tunes. Press and hold the volume button for 2 to 3 seconds. The LED will light up, and then press the transmitter.
You tell me when you want me to press.
Sounds like it's pairing. Okay, so this is going to make a lot of noise. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm just going to change it to the next one. Okay, it always does that when you plug it in. So now, press the mute button to select a different tone. Okay.
See, we never got the LED indicator to...
Okay, that's a different tone. That's your Winchester.
Tell me when you want me to press.
Okay, hang on. Press and hold the volume button for 3 to 4 seconds.
Westchester or
1,
Winchester?
2, 3. There it goes.
Blinking? Now I press the transmitter.
No, tell lights up. Yeah, press it.
I pressed it.
All it did was blink.
So that maybe it accepted it. Oh, maybe it has it now.
Hang on. I think I was off. I was on volume. I was on. I think pressing and holding it. I had muted it. Okay, hit it. Try it again.
It did.
Yay!
Kylie.
Oh my gosh.
Kylie gets very good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, grab a screenshot of that, Steve. I got to make sure I get that.
Of Kylie's instructions.
Kaylee. Why do you keep calling her Kylie?
I don't know. Sorry. It keeps moving. No, okay, people, you cannot. Okay.
Hold still. Stop having fun. Steve needs to take a screenshot.
All right. No typing right now. No inputs.
Actually,
I gotta.
Kaylee, put it in Slack for me, would you? or Telegram or somewhere. I don't want to watch Steve hurt himself. That's why it was on the roadside.
Okay, we got it.
Oh, she posted a link to the actual doorbell too.
Okay.
Oh, I missed that. I saw you posted something, but here's the real doorbell on Amazon. Oh, without branding.
She put. I think she gave you the Amazon link too.
She did. Oh, I see what's going on. I've just tapped it like 8 times, and my Safari's opening on a window way over here.
It's caused you to slow down and jitter.
Oh no. Oh, but it's $29. I got the good one.
How do you know it's better?
Because it's $29.
Maybe that's the multiple tones.
Okay, this is so awesome. I've got to wing it. Here we go. Okay, everybody, this is why I do the live show. You remember my awesome doorbell I told you about a little while ago? Anyway, in the live show, Kaylee found the exact doorbell that I found on the side of the road on Amazon. So I will be able to put that link in the show notes to the real one. Now, here's the downside. This one is $29. So it does have 3 chimes and 2 doorbell buttons. So it's like way cooler than the other one. I mean, I'm thinking now these people got what they needed. They had 2 chimes and a doorbell, and they gave me the other one. So everybody wins. Maybe you could give away part of this if you buy it for $29 with my Amazon affiliate link. Anyway, the best part of this is it had the real instructions for how to get the doorbell sound to stick. So we have now changed the doorbell, and if Steve is ready, he will press it again. I'm telling you, you do not get podcasting like this from any other show. Thank you to Kaylee for this important research and helping us with this critical issue.
Wow. Terrifying.
I crack myself up.
Oh, you think that's why it's a little more expensive now?
The good one means
Frank?
Free. No, but think about it. 2 people got doorbells. So you guys could pair up and buy this one and split the cost.
We could have the whole world ringing.
Okay, make sure I get that link, though.
You going to update your link in the blog post?
I will. Kaylee, did you
Yeah, she's got it in there.
Okay,
Oh, you want me to
can you
capture it?
telegram that to me or
Sure.
yeah, if she could telegram that to me, that would
I
be
got it.
great. That would be awesome. All right, I'm gonna. Sorry. Wait, no, I don't want you to telegram it to me. Well, I guess
Oh.
that works
Why does it make a difference who telegrams it to you?
because you override my do not disturb. That's why.
Oh.
If Kaylee had done it, it would have been gentle. All right, here we go. Oh, now wait, now I need my chapter mark. Preview, here we go. Oh no, I did my chapter mark. Stop the presses. Here we go. Better move that chapter mark here. Didn't I have a table of sadness picture? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did. All right, this is the telephone call of sadness. Okay, we've had enough fun and frivolity on the show. Now it's a story of sadness. Lately, Steve and I have started upgrading our phones and our watches every single year. I'm starting to seriously question the strategy, though. While we can afford to do this, I don't like my little wing it introduction. Okay, who's pinging me? Kaylee. Okay, apparently Kaylee can override my that's see, she gave me the full link. That's awesome. I don't think I muted my watch. Okay. Let me start this over again here. Still getting a lot of noise. All right. Lately, Steve and I have started upgrading our phones and watches every single year. I'm starting to seriously question the strategy, though. While we can't afford to do this and it's great fun, in 2 cases, I don't think we've gotten our money's worth. Last year, we promised the kids that we'd flow down our iPhones 10 to them when we bought the iPhones 10s. Then we sold our old phones and everybody was happy. While the 10 was a huge upgrade for them, Lindsay was on a 7 and Nolan on a 6S, the upgrade from the 10 to the 10S for us was really minor. If I took the same photo with both phones and squinted real hard, I could say that the 10S was slightly better. Had I not promised the phones to the kids, I don't think I would have bought the 10S because I couldn't tell anything else apart on it. And yet, when we bought the iPhones 11 Pro, the upgrade was huge from the iPhone 10s. The camera is amazing and the battery life is insane, the 2 things I probably care about most. When the Apple Watch Series 5 was announced, I listened carefully for the enhancements from the Series 4 we already owned. The big thing they hyped was the always on feature. I thought that sounded pretty nifty because it is slightly annoying to have to snap your wrist to wake it up. I'm not alone in that more than once I've used my nose to wake up my watch because, like, my hands are goopy or something. In the back of my brain, I think I figured there were probably a lot of other cool features the Series 5 had that I would be getting for the price of the bottom of the line watch, $500 for the small one with Apple Care. I was totally right to assume that. Guess what else it has? A compass. Yep, no longer will I have to use my phone as a compass like an animal. And that's the only difference between the 4 and the 5. When I got the new watch, I was super excited because, the new shiny, right? But the first day I wore it, other than the awesome new band I got with it, I couldn't tell the difference from my old watch. The band is the Alaskan Blue sports band, by the way, and I loves it. I knew there were new watch faces, but guess what? Those same new watch faces are available on the Apple Watch Series 4. Well, wait a minute. The new noise app that will alert you if you're being exposed to excessive noise is on the Watch 5. It's very cool. It tells you that prolonged exposure, greater than 30 minutes, could cause permanent hearing loss. Dave Hamilton said on the Mac Geek Gab that his wife's watch notified her of just that when they were at a concert. Dave is crazy about protecting his hearing, so he immediately put in the earplugs he usually wears but had forgotten to put in. Guess what? The noise feature is also available on the Series 4. So, near as I can figure, the only mildly useful thing I got for my $500 was a watch that tells time all the time. But, well, that's cool. Until it got to be 9 at night the first day, and my watch was already in low power mode. Sandy, it said phone, not watch. Sandy,
Which band are you
Sandy,
wearing right now?
I'm cutting her fees.
From 0 to 0/2?
Yes. I'm wearing the
Oh, you are
Alaskan
wearing the new
blue.
one. There you go.
Yes. Okay, now I got to go back up because that's why I stumbled. That's cool. Until it got to be. That's cool. Well, that's cool. Ah, I just do. Whatever I just did. Oh no. No, 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 no. Redo it. Redo. Just erased everything I'd recorded. There we go. Until it got to be 9 at night the first day, and my watch was already in low power mode. That is decidedly not cool. Apple promised that the Apple Watch Series 5 would have the same 18-hour battery life as the Series 4. I know some of you are hollering at your devices that I'm asking too much because you know how much I work out and I'm always running the workout on my watch. If they're on 2 hours a day with the enhanced heart rate sensor running because I'm doing a workout, that is a challenge to the battery life. But my Series 4 would have been between 20 and 30% left at the end of the day. So now let's recap. I have now paid $500 for a watch that tells me the time most of the day. I was disappointed, but I know when you get a new phone from Apple, things like first-time spotlighting indexing combined with how much we play with our devices can really compromise the battery during the first few days. So I hid my disappointment, just kept wearing the watch. The second day, it shut completely down at 9:30 p.m. Well, that's just great. Now, I really hate to say the phrase, lots of people are having the same problem, because with the vastness of the sales of Apple's devices, you can pretty much always say that about any problem you're having. But when 9 to 5 Mac did a poll on Series 5 battery life, and nearly 70% of the people said it was worse than they expected, I figured this problem might be far bigger than just me. After 4 days of this nonsense, I figured I'd call AppleCare. I had no expectation going into this that I would get any kind of satisfaction, but I wanted to challenge them to convince me not to march back to the store to return this watch. I have never simply returned an Apple product. Let's talk about what I like to refer to now as the phone call of sadness, trademark Podfeet 2019. I'll skip a lot of the detail, but I'll give you some of the salient points. My main contact at Apple support has been Senior Advisor Carrie. Carrie is not my little friend. Carrie suggested I turn off the always on feature. Okay, so I paid $500 for a watch that has a compass in it. No, Carrie, I won't even run that test for you. If it helps, what would we have learned? Do you expect me to keep the always on feature turned off? She said she was going to send me a support article about how to manage my battery on the watch. I asked her what kind of advice was in that article. She said it suggests things like don't run the heart rate monitor while you're doing a workout. Wait, what? That's the main reason I have the watch. But anyway, that's not why she isn't my little friend Carrie. She told me she'd call me back at a specific time and then did not call me back at that time. This became a pattern of behavior. Eventually, she did call and she asked me to do something pretty interesting. Engineering wanted me to install a profile on my phone that would pull diagnostics from the watch. It would run for 24 hours and then she would call me back to get the results. But of course, she didn't call me back on time. Now, here's another annoyance. Every call, she would try to do a screen share to me. Every time she tried to screen share to me, I would start to move my cursor to the button to accept, and before I could get there, it would say Apple supported disconnected. She would try this exactly 3 times every time we talked, and then she would send me to a web page where I had to enter a code. It would download a little app that I had to run, and then she could connect. This happened every single time we worked together. 100% repeatable failure of the tool from Apple. Remember me talking about that tool that was not 64-bit, one piece of it? This is that tool, by the way. The next time she didn't call me back on time, I hollered at her about that. She said we had to run the test again because engineering said no data was collected for some reason. We installed the profile again and again, and I had to wait for an appointment time where she would be late. By the way, each time we connected was around 3 to 4 days apart because of her schedule. The next time we were supposed to connect, she never called at all. I sent an email to her asking her why she was again disrespecting the customer by not calling. I got a call back from Apple, but was from a different senior advisor. Turns out this woman was only calling me because she saw my email come through to Carrie where I was yelling at Carrie for not calling me. Turned out Carrie wasn't even coming into the office that day as she was out sick. Isn't that awesome that I never would have known that if I hadn't written to her myself? Great processes, Apple. Now, I tried really hard not to take it out on the woman who did call on me. But guess what the report was back from engineering? The data didn't come through, so we needed to put a profile on your phone to take data from your watch for 24 hours and send it to engineering. This is now the third time I will have done this. I pointed out to the woman that there's a famous saying: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I told her I was done, and I said goodbye, and I hung up. I did get another letter back from Carrie, who wants me to get together with her again. I haven't answered her yet. I really went through this 4 or 5 hours of working with Apple to kind of take one for the team. Like I said, I never really expected them to fix anything for me, but I did hope that by me putting in this time, perhaps I could contribute data that would help Apple fix the root cause of these battery problems with the Series 5 Apple Watch. But there comes a time when even I haven't got the patience or time to continue to play along. And guess what? I also haven't told her that over the 2.5 weeks we fooled around with this, my battery life has finally improved. I've had a couple of nights where my battery had 20+% left at the end of the night, followed by one where it went into low power mode at 10 p.m. So maybe the watchOS updates plus the 127 different iOS 13 updates we've gotten have actually made a difference. You know what, though? I put on the new California watch face. I colored it to match my Alaskan blue band, and I added my complications to it, and now it feels like a new watch. If you've got a Series 4, you've been eyeing the Series 5, get yourself a new watch band and a new watch face and save yourselves $500. You can still use your nose to tell the time. Whew.
That was a long one.
5:56. Yep.
Well done.
All right.
I think it was the updates because I didn't change them, and I don't think you changed your use case for the watch. You kind of treat the watch the same way. Maybe then on day 1 or 2 when you're playing with features.
Yeah.
But after that, you're using the watch the way you normally do.
Yeah, but I didn't mention your battery life was really bad too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would take you to the end of the day, but you didn't have much to spare.
Right. So right now I didn't do a workout today, but I'm at
we didn't work out at
50%.
all today.
Yeah, it's not a good day.
You're at what, 50?
50.
I'm at 45, and I did do one workout, but anyway. All right, I'm going to bring it home.
All right.
Here we go.
Did you do a chapter mark? Oh, you don't
Not
need one
for
at
the
the end.
closing. All right. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Many, many thanks to Joe and Jill. That was really, really fun. I just had a blast listening to both of those. I hope you did too. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions. I do have a dumb question queued up here that I'm going to take on soon. You can send that, comments, and suggestions to my email at allison@podfeet.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Podfeet. Now remember, anything you're looking for, anything you want to find at podfeet.com is going to start with podfeet.com/whatever you're looking for. You're looking for how to become a Patreon? Podfeet.com/Patreon. Looking for our Facebook group? Podfeet.com/Facebook. Looking for our Slack community? Podfeet.com/Slack. By the way, Bart hangs out in there and he answers questions about security, so that's a really great place to go. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Boom.
It's a wrap.
We are done at 5:58.
Yeah. You're going to get class out on time tonight.
Joe got rid of his watch, actually.
Ooh.
You're waiting for the 5G radio for the phone? Yeah, I don't know. How long is it going to be before we actually have any 5G to play with,
I'd say 2 years for Apple anyway.
Well, no. I think they're going to do it next year.
You do.
Yeah, probably. But you're not going to be able to get 4G service anywhere. And I mean, you're going to be able to get some. It's going to start coming to the big cities. But I don't know. Do you really find that your phone isn't fast enough versus you'd really like a wicked new camera?
And it's still going to be available in such limited areas, I believe.
Yeah. All right, I got to listen here for a second. Stay subscribed. Nope, that was way off. Yeah, I don't know. I think this upgrade was good enough that it was worth it. But again, like the 10S, no, not really. And stay subscribed. There we go. All right. File export. It is time to let class out. Say goodbye to Rose. Bye, Rose. Mwah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks again, Joe.
Good night, Gracie.